It was about 10 years ago that I discovered the board game hobby, and Age of Empires 3 was one of the first games that I bought. I also discovered BoardGameGeek.com, and so I go on there and someone has painted all of the figures. And so I decided I'm gonna do that too, but being a worker placement game, there were a lot of figures. And the thing about Age of Empires 3 is that it has different types of workers, which means even more painting. Well, now it's 10 years later, and I'm thinking, what inspired that person to paint the game? Is he still playing Age of Empires 3? So I called him up.
I gotta tell you, I think that you inspired me to paint my Age of Empires thing. I think it was
that's
you.
nice to hear.
So,
I've never played Age of Empires.
no, no way.
No.
What? No, wait, this is you. That's completely blown my mind. I cannot
told
believe. I can't. You've got to be kidding. You can't.
No. I think at this time, what happened is we had a couple of children, 2 and 1, and so my gaming group kind of stopped a bit. So I just sort of thought, okay, how am I going to fill my time? I know, I'll paint a huge amount of figures. That would be fun. So that's kind of what I did.
Looking after young children, it's something you could fit around in the small hours and all
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, that was exactly it. And that was definitely, I do sort of remember painting because I think I started to log hours of how long it took me, and I stopped because it was like, that's crazy because this is ridiculous. Do you know athletes talk about being in the zone and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they kind of lose
in the
lose
flow.
track. Yeah, in the flow, that's it. And in that flow, it's for me, painting can be that perfect sort of just enough challenge to sort of get me into that. And then I will lose hours. So I'll come out and sort of see my wife and say, oh, and she'll think it's been like, I think half an hour. And she'll go, you've been gone 2 hours.
Wow.
So I can really kind of lose myself in the painting.
Like, how paint worthy is Age of Empires 3? How do they rate, or is it bonkers to paint those, or what?
Yeah, you're pretty spot on. Yeah, it is quite bonkers to paint them, really, because there's too many of the same, and that's dull. Even someone like me who can get lost in it, that turns you into a bit of a, as I said before, a bit of a factory. The only way to really go about it is to kind of do it kind of robotically, which is less fun. The quality of the miniatures, the plastic isn't great. The features around the face, the finer details, they're not so strong either. So your quality of paint job is limited. But the better the miniature, the better you can paint them, if you see what I mean. So some of the figures like around the noses and stuff, they're sort of not really there. So you can't really do a great job there. It's all the guys carrying the logs, isn't it? There's a lot of log carrying guys.
Colonists.
Yeah. That's crazy that was the first thing you painted, because that's massive. So I painted it all, and as I said, my gaming group kind of folded and stuff. And actually, because there's a bit of conflict in there, isn't there?
Definitely interaction, and there's definitely this thing of, why'd you go there? You should be going there because he's winning.
Yeah.
Why are you? There's a loads of that.
That sort of thing didn't go well with a few of the members of my group, so so I think that was maybe why. But I never ended up getting it on the table. So I've never played it. So all those figures, they're all out there in box. They've never seen the light of day. I put out a message way back saying, look, I've done this. I've got these figures. I've never played the game. Is there anybody in the area that I live would like to come and sort of play? And nobody responded. I wish I had played it, sort of thing. And as I said, I can get it out to play. but it probably will feel a bit dated, I imagine now.
The colonial theme, certainly a bit dated. I think that would be a bit of a cultural clangor now.
I mean, I have got enough figures and enough games in the house to last me to end my days, you know. But I still keep going on Kickstarter and going, oh, they look really nice figures.
Of course you
haven't
do.
painted anything like that before. Oh, I think I quite like enjoying that. I think the next thing that's coming through the post is Ankh. Is it Lang? Yeah,
Eric
Lang game.
right?
Yeah. So that's got a lot of obviously Egyptian themed things, and I haven't painted that type of thing. So again, it's just sort of like, oh, that would be fun. They love putting miniatures in those games, and they know that they're going to draw in people like me because of that.
Wow.
And you know, so and the quality of those miniatures are usually pretty good because they know that people are buying them partly for that reason.
For that reason, yeah.
Judge Dredd, the Helter Skelter.
Right, I don't know that
by Martin
one.
Wallace.
Oh, crikey, I didn't even
All right.
notice
Well,
that.
but what's great about that, every miniature is unique.
Okay.
So that's fantastic. That's your sweet spot. You know, that's a really great game in that sense of painting miniatures, and they're pretty good miniatures as well. They're good quality. So yeah, I mean, we're talking an old game now. I think generally, in general terms, miniatures are much better standard than they were.
What does that mean? Does it mean like there's just more detail in them or something?
The casting of them in the sort of, I think you can get different quality plastics as well. So some plastics, they even want to hold paint. They kind of resist the paint. And also back then, I mean, I think I hand primed all the figures as well. I didn't even spray them. I think it's the dip. There's something in dip. If you're doing lots of figures, that's a quick way. Actually, Down now, Games Workshop, they've released paints called contrast paints, I think they're called. When you paint them on, they also drop in sort of detail into the crevices. So if you're doing a huge army now, they give you a really decent effect, and you don't have to be that great at painting. A little bit more dry brushing.
What's that?
A little bit more refined.
What's dry brushing?
Dry brushing is where you will put some paint onto your brush, but you effectively rub most of it off, and then when you put it on, it only gets picked up on the higher parts of the figure, so you're able to bring out highlights. It's because I really enjoy painting. I've learned that if I buy a game that's got figures, I will paint them first before I bring them to the table, because if it's not light, if I did it the other way around and it wasn't enjoyed, then I would never paint the figures.
Right.
Whereas I can paint the figures and enjoy that painting of them. And if it comes to the table and it's not light, and it doesn't matter, because hey, I got to paint the figures and I enjoyed that bit. So I bought Stuffed Fables, finished painting it, did it pretty quickly actually now. And my son absolutely hated it. Couldn't cope, didn't like it one bit. No way is that ever going to get played again. And I have definitely bought games also that is purely and utterly to paint without any expectation of playing the game at all. So something like Dread Fleet, Games Workshop. So again, I'm often looking to sort of try and paint things that are different to what I've painted before. Okay. So that was all sort of ships and stuff, which I've never done. Absolutely knew that I would never play that game. But I did intend to play Age of Empires. that was a slip. That I also now play with my sons, so games. So that's great. So we definitely, I mean, we play not every week, but pretty regularly. And as I say, they can handle any of the games I throw at them. In fact, my youngest son thrashed us this weekend.
That blows my mind that the painting is such a big part for you, even so that it comes first.
I don't think any of my favorite games have miniatures.
Tony, this is just so funny.
Let me see. In the weekend we played Yido, we played Wingspan, we played Clans of Caledonia.
Oh, I love Clans.
So they're the sort of games that we're sort of. Oh, I love that game so much.
That's such a great game. So good.
Yeah. So no figures.
Brilliant. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, you're more than welcome. I'm happy, and it's really nice that you said that I inspired you a bit. That's very kind of you.
I'm really angry with you about that.